Massive news from the Fed today. All good news on that end. Welcome back to the Coinbros, your guide through the greatest industry on this little tiny rock spinning through the universe in the simulation that we're all planted here together in. I'm glad you guys are here with us. And we're going to talk about the top three stories. And the number one story of the day is the Fed meeting, which was, we've had nothing but bad Fed meetings for 10 years. Because we had a guy called Powell that was in, everybody hates him. He was a complete moron, in my opinion. We got a new guy in called Warsh. And he seems to understand crypto on a level that I didn't expect. It was all positive. Like, I expected it to be a little bit of up and down, or maybe they just say a bunch of nonsense that doesn't mean anything. But they literally opened up and let me read this to you. So this is story number one. But before we go into that, Bitcoin's holding around 78K. Ethereum's around 2,350. Looking not bad, right? And we touched 80K on Bitcoin. I thought we would pump a little harder with this news, but it could just be lagging a little bit. Let's dive right into it. All right, story number one, Warsh. I will read this to you. Crypto is now part of the U.S. financial system. This is under oath from the Fed, right? From Warsh, the new guy that's talking. Old guy Powell is out. He's out in 22 days. So this is the guy we want to listen to. Here we go. From the next Fed chair, under oath, no CBDC, thank God, that we are not doing a central backed crypto dollar, right? That we don't need that in the government. There's a lot of reasons. We'll do a whole nother video on why CBDCs are horrible, in my opinion. And most people think that in the industry, right? So DeFi investment called BTC, the new gold. They're saying BTC is the new gold, right? That's really good to hear, to hear our main financial head saying that BTC is the new gold. That's pretty bullish. This is not a politician pandering. This is a guy who controls the money supply, telling you that he gets it. And it seems like he does. But he also wants tighter liquidity. We all do. So the ceiling goes up and the floor gets lower. That is the Warsh era. Big range, more legitimacy. So very big news on that end, man. It's been a long time since we've heard anything good from the Fed. And it sounds like they get it. And it sounds like they're leaning into what the rest of the world sees. I'm going to turn that off. I don't even know what that is. So it sounds like they understand what's going on and they're going to start leaning into it. A little late to the party, but not here nor there. It's good that we see that. It's a very positive move in the right direction and great to hear. I'm very surprised the market didn't pump a little harder from that. It still might. All right, number two, Pentagon. This is from the Pentagon. Hormuz takes 6 months. The oil problem doesn't solve with the handshake. So they're basically saying, look, we have a ceasefire, which is great because regardless of if they stick to it, it's like there's not a time frame on it. Everyone's not watching the clock trying to see when are we going to make a decision. Both sides are supposedly saying, like, look, we're not going to blow each other up anymore. But they're saying here that it takes 6 months to get things back to normal if everything goes right. And ceasefire is indefinite, but that's great. But the mines are still there, right? So the Pentagon says 6 months minimum to clear them. Oil can normalize. It can't normalize until the strait is physically safe for commercial traffic. So they're like, it's not safe to be sending ships back and forth quite yet. And they're saying it could take up to 6 months. So this means energy inflation persists through at least Q3. Rate cuts stay dead, and the macro headwind is capped the crypto all year, and it isn't going away with a ceasefire. So we need to get those boatways cleared, right? And then things can wrap up. But like anytime you have war like this, and it takes time, right? It takes time to figure things out. Let's just hope that it doesn't go south. And so it's saying like trade accordingly for the next 6 months, because that's a pretty big deal if we can get that sorted. But on the other side of things, they've now started taking a toll on ships, right? So this is what I've heard is that they're charging $2 million for ships to go through. Now, I've heard there's up to like 100 to 150 ships a day sometimes that go through that Straits of Hormuz with oil, and they're charging $2 million per ship. Now do the math on that, per day. And now they only accept the Chinese yuan or crypto, which is Bitcoin, most likely Bitcoin, maybe some other top cryptos, but probably mainly Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoin that has to be used throughout the entire world. So that's one use case, whether you agree with it or not, that's hundreds of millions of dollars that could be a day using Bitcoin, which is pretty massive. That's a lot of money. So just something to think about. And story number three, it is all about how spot trading is not, we need more spot trading. The rally is perps, not spots. So let me read this. Perps are up, spots are down. The same pattern as January when crypto or Bitcoin hit its 98K peak. USDT at 188 billion record. Dry powder is there. It just hasn't moved into spot. If it does, we hit 80K plus. If it doesn't, the rally fades like January, and the spot market is the jury, and it hasn't voted yet. So we need more spot, right? You need more spot. There's a lot of dry powder, they're saying, and they're saying if it moves into that, we could be off to the races. So we just got to wait and see, but it's inevitability, right? Like, it's really just a waiting game. This is a bear market, so we are not in the clear by any means. But, Bitcoin goes past 80K, we start inching towards that 100K. There's a world where we hit all-time highs before the next halving, which is within about 2 years, which would kind of shake up the whole industry, and it would be a different behavior in the industry, which at some point it's going to grow so big that things will change, right? Volatility stops being as crazy. But one cool thing about crypto is there's a lot of different things you can jump into. If you do love the volatility, you like to gamble, you like to be a little more conservative, there's something for everybody, and we will touch on all of that. But that's the top 3 stories of the day. Much love, you guys. Be nice to each other. I will be back tomorrow with your top 3 stories. Keep y'all informed so you don't have to do the research. Like, subscribe. Much love, guys. See y'all tomorrow.